Hey guys, welcome to the SimRacingPaddock. I'm William Marsh, and I told you in my previous Assetto Corsa Competizione live stream that once Kuno Simulazione released a new hotfix for some of the issues, I would try to make sure to test that out and see if it did indeed fix some of the issues. Now we have version 0.1.1, a hotfix that is addressing some of the early issues that was in the first public build. So let's see how it is. So right here you can see this is from the Assetto Corsa forums. So it's a version 0.1.1 hotfix. First thing, fixed AI remaining without fuel. So I guess it was something where some of the Lamborghinis would run out of gas and get stopped in the middle of the track, and either they just wouldn't get off the track or just would get stuck. So that seems to be the source of the issue when the cars would just stop moving. And then fixed crash caused by faulty recognition of the T500R shifter. And no, this is not pre-recorded, Sun King. This is not pre-recorded. So yeah, there's that fixed crash, or fixing the crash caused by, I'm guessing that's a TH8RS. And then fixing a time loop after midnight. So I guess that was a glitch, and that means no more Groundhog Day. So there's that. And then adding the starter and ignition. So I did mention that this is a, what is it? Like, this was a new feature for ACC that we are seeing that there is ignition and starter. That was not in the initial release. That was also not in the preview release I had. So you would have to keep it on automatic. You would have to keep it on automatic ignition and starter. So now we will test that feature out as well. And then fixed car lights not working when opponent visibility option is used. So some people were talking about how headlights weren't working. This looks like it should fix that. Fixing backfires, other particles visible on hidden cars. That's interesting. So I guess if you turn that up, or turn up that opponent visibility video option, that would make some of the cars disappear. But then some of the effects, backfires, and sparks, I guess, would still remain. And then fixed misleading option values with AA and visible opponents. So there's that. And Eero94, yes I am. It's my SimRacingBay open sim wheel. All link, or you can see in the description what I am using for this setup. So there's that. Fixing Marshall spline detection. I don't fully know what that is. Maybe that's something where in the different regions, the different zones, you have the detection and the flag range a little wider. That would be my guess. Expanded camera field of view and frame rate limits. So a lot of people were asking for this. The initial release for ACC was at, I believe, a maximum field of view was 70 degrees. That doesn't work well for triple screen setups. Whoops, sorry, I just hit the mic. That doesn't work well for triple screen setups or things like that. So keep that in mind. Now it sounds like it's wider. We will see how wide that can get while driving. So there's that. Visual and level of detail tweaks to the Lamborghini Huracan GT3. Maybe that could have been why we are getting some frame rate struggles, so let's see how that is now. Disabled saving the Discord username for an inbuilt configuration. I have no clue what that is. I didn't see anything regarding that during my initial testing. Slightly increased retry interval for or after a disconnect from the servers. There's no online right now, so I don't know what that is. Added proximity indicators visible to HUD.json. So I guess if you don't like those red arrows, you could turn them off in the JSON file. Fixed music looping on some conditions. I turned off music, but I never experienced that myself. And then tweaked volume for reverb zones. Okay. Oh, okay, Izzy, thanks for that. So they use it for in-game chat. Maybe it syncs with Discord. So let's check my Steam real quick. Whoops, I clicked on the Windows Store. So Steam, update queued. So I thought I had it loaded, but maybe not. Should be quick though, I think. Yeah, it's only 200 megabytes. So, let's see. Why is it not loading? Hold on a second. Let's pause. Restart. So it should just run fast. Yeah, so getting the 12 right now. It should go up. So almost done. We will fire it up and see how this patch goes. I'm excited though because as mentioned in the pre-release build, the AI was actually okay. So maybe it should be a little better now that they resolved that fuel issue or whatever it is. We will find out though. But hey, that's the life of early access, I guess. Sometimes early access can be a major pain in the butt because things can crash and stuff. And yes, Bo Cephas, I am so flippin' excited that Sharks just got Carlson. But now we have 2 Carlsons. 3 if you count Linus Carlson, who we drafted in 2018. So there's 3 Carlsons in the San Jose Sharks organization right now. Mark 13, I do not have the McLaren wheel yet. And hey, SimRacing604, how's it going, man? Cool to see you in here. We are almost done loading this new hotfix for Assetto Corsa Competizione, and hopefully that fixes a lot of the issues that we had so far. I'm not expecting it to fix everything. There might be a couple placebo effect things that might be in the sim, but yeah. Also, I have some exciting news. So yesterday, I was talking about some of the cockpits I'm going to be reviewing in the near future. I was talking about the SimLab GP1 Evo. I was talking about the Visaro cockpit I'm getting to review next week. And then after my live stream finished, after my Forza stream finished, I get a text from a family member saying, "Yep, you just got another cockpit." And thanks, Service, for subscribing. But yeah, so I did actually get another cockpit, and it is the it's the Next Level Racing new FGT. So they took out the F or the one in the F1, and now it's the FGT. It's still essentially the same cockpit, and yeah, so there's that. Thank you, Vlad, for subscribing. So we do have what is it? So we need to turn on game capture. So I have the Next Level Racing FGT over box right there. Soon I'll unbox it, build it, and test it out. So I'm excited for that. So what's in this new update? The biggest thing is the fact that AI cars will no longer run out of gas. It will no longer run out of gas while in the middle of a race. So that is nice. I'm going to run on like medium to high settings though, because we were having some frame rate issues even with my 1080 in this. I wasn't getting too much of a frame rate struggle with my 1080 while not streaming. So we will see how that is. Let's see though. General, same thing, very svelte right there. Okay, Voodoo, good to hear. I should be getting a podium wheel closer to winter when it's closer to the wheel coming out. So, as we mentioned, if we... Oh, that's interesting. So, they added a new tab in the controller settings. New tab in controller settings. So, there's the pit limiter, ignition. I'll just map there. And starter. So, we have that. And then... Looks like we're just about set. All my controls have stayed. Let's make sure force feedback, 30% gain. That is right. Mark, I live streamed Forza Motorsport 4 demo yesterday. Yesterday I did my Forza Motorsport 4 live stream. Or Forza Horizon 4, my bad. So yeah, so we'll go to single player. We'll do set up a quick race. We'll do 15 minutes. That should be fine for checking this. 93, 92%, that was roughly my skill level, I think. Interestingly enough, we're losing out on some of the detail in this car right here. Now that's good. And then come out. So, Huh, this is real time, I think. Real time rendering. So if we switch the car, I wonder. Yeah, I'm wondering if that's real time window and then it'll just scale up. But yeah, so this hotfix does not have any other features. It's just bug fixes, things like that. So yeah, Sebastian, I don't have anti-damping or anything like that on because it feels like right now the game just has so much natural dampening. So Leonard, I actually did get to drive the F1 GT about a year ago. So about a year ago, I tested out the F1 GT at a friend's place. I do have a video live about that. So there's that. So if force feedback has improved, we'll find out. I find it unlikely though. So let's see.
Alright, this is a long race session. Watch out and remember that our target is P10. Repeat.
So frame rate, yeah, it still seems a little lower. Remember, it's not optimized. Frame rate isn't optimized yet. That's something that's going to come later, so it usually is going to be poor performance. Thanks, Darren Bond, for subscribing. So let's see how this is. One thing I'm not a fan of is when you're in the pace, like going here, I had that issue where the throttle would keep on cutting out, and it seems like that might... I didn't feel that right now, but yeah, so thoughts on force feedback? It's okay. It does leave a lot to be desired, though. Oh, man. Okay, they still just come to a total stop. They just come to a total stop in that first corner. You would think they would actually move forward, so... And cold brakes. Okay, so we'll start back a bit. But yeah, you really do experience the cold brakes and stuff in this, so let's get some heat in these tires. Not a good start, I know. Private Brian 1, thanks for subscribing. I will make you guys proud, but hey, getting used to a new game. I have to get used to new AI quirks and stuff. Initial impressions, I mean, it works well. It really does. Force feedback is one of my main issues where they need more settings to adjust it. They need more settings to really modify it and enhance it. They really do need that sort of element where you can lower the natural dampening that they have in place. Because that, I think, really cuts out some of the detail. They need to optimize it for different wheels. I don't know what wheels they're using for development, but I've been hearing a lot of complaints with the Thrustmaster T300 RS. A lot of people are saying it's either clipping or just has no detail, which, unfortunately, I don't have a T300 RS to test out yet. Like, right now I'm testing out on my open sim wheel, so I'm at 30% gain, so there's no way in heck I'm clipping. You can see my force feedback meter on the bottom right, so we're not clipping or anything, but yeah, it's not as detailed as I would like it that it is in other titles. So we're making a pass on the inside, got a decent run off there. And then also the draw distance, that's something that I find irritating in ACC. The draw distance, which I think that's more of a quirk of Unreal Engine. I don't know how much Kunos could really iron out that. I don't know if it's something they are actually capable of, but you can see the pop-in in the trees and also in car details. If you look at the pop-in and pop-out in the rear view mirror, it is abysmal. And it just looks like there's a layer of Vaseline smeared on it. But yeah, it's interesting. It really is. When the details are there, this looks really good. The lighting is all right. It does have this interesting thing that is kind of similar to earlier R Factor 2, where it seems like the lights don't work until a certain time of day. But it seems to be okay now. Granted, I am running on medium settings, so medium settings could do something, but If you look at the rear view mirror, you can see that Ferrari behind me. You do actually see the reflection in the rear view mirror, which is pretty nice. I mean, it's a rudimentary one, but it's pretty good. But yeah, so far we're about 4 minutes in and no cars have stopped. Let's hope we can make it the full length of the race. But yeah, the rain. I do really like the rain driving in ACC. It's not just, say, driving on a slippery track. When it's harder rain or even the storm condition, the puddles will form and you do have to avoid the puddles or else you will aqua/hydroplane and potentially wreck. You have to stay off the curbs or else you'll be in trouble. You actually have to use some rain driving smarts. For example, you don't want to hug the inside the inside line too much, things like that. So, yeah, this is my first rudimentary test to see if the AI is indeed fixed. Okay, yellow flag is out. Whoa. I mean, they just brake so early. That's one thing they do need to fix in this. They are braking insanely early. I mean, I do have the AI set to 93%, I think. But still, they shouldn't brake that early. But yeah, it's okay. Live feed at the Sim Racing Expo. I didn't really catch any of that, but it seemed like it was pretty well done. Dieter, yes they did. So apparently what the bug they explained was that the headlights wouldn't work if you had the visible cars option set. If you have the visible cars function set, then it would not make your headlights work. That's what they explained the bug as. That's what they said it was, so they addressed that in the patch notes. Let's take a look, though. Hold on a second. Oh, dang it. I just realized when I changed my ignition and starter mappings, I unmapped my pause button. Okay, so we will take note of that. After this race, we will address that. But yeah, so far, we are almost halfway through the race. No cars have stopped. That is a good sign. So yeah, Daniel, I noticed that Austin Ognoski, he did post a video about it, and I know that he is on Slightly Mad Studios payroll, but I think he does make a couple decent points. He does make a couple decent points where it is a legitimate challenge at times to actually drive this car at the limit. So there's that. So they need to work on the tire flex and model at the limit. But yeah, that's just insane. I should have not made that pass on the inside. Like, I should not have just passed two cars on the inside right there. We'll test with higher AI levels in the next race. I'll do maybe a dry and a day race afterwards. But yeah, so let's get back to the point. Driving the car at the limit feels very difficult. Granted, I'm not pushing too hard because we're in the rain right now. But this is something where I think it's something where this is an early tire model. Remember, Kunos had to migrate their physics engine over to Unreal. It's not as simple as copying and pasting files. They actually had to completely translate their physics model, their cars and everything into an actual legitimate new engine. So there's a lot of things that need to be addressed, and I think there is bound to be early teething pains. And I will say, at the very least, force feedback has been improved. I do get a little better sense of the car. I'm actually getting more feeling over the curbs while driving, even though I should not be touching the curbs in this. Driving under load right now, like in that corner, I could feel the car going over bumps. So Yeah, it's that. So the issue with ACC is, yeah, you don't really have a great idea where the limit is. Whoa. Well, I was doing my normal braking point, but he decided to brake like 50 meters earlier, maybe.
Yellow flag ahead, watch out.
Or 50 yards earlier, or whatever the marker is. But yeah, it's interesting because
Yellow flag ahead.
you don't get an idea on that real edge. Sometimes it'll just really snap. But yeah, I am noticing, I think, some positive improvements to the force feedback. I'm not certain, but it could be placebo for all I know. I did adjust a couple SimuCube settings before doing this stream. Whoa! Okay, I gotta get a little less distracted in this race because I just murdered a Lamborghini. So, continuing on what I am saying, this is something that it is an improvement. We haven't seen a car parked on the track. So after this, I'll do a 20-minute race in the dry. And when Gamer Muscle was doing his 20-minute races with about 5 to 2 minutes remaining, that's when the cars would start to stop. So we'll see how it is after. So force feedback difference in patch. I don't know for certain. I think it was Sebastian Keidel. He said that force feedback, I think, felt a little better. I think it might be a hair better, but I don't think that was the focus of this hotfix. The hotfix was, I think, to possibly just make the races functional, to get the AI to a point where they don't stop in the middle of the track, which I think they did a good job at. So I'm happy with that. We haven't seen any cars parked for a picnic. So yeah, this, I'd say, is a positive improvement. So that was interesting, going through that turn right there. That turn actually felt pretty decent. Actually, I did feel the rear end step out a bit and I could catch a little bit of that slide. Granted, it wasn't in like a four-wheel drift, but it was okay. So yellow flag. Hopefully it's no one stopping. So yeah, we need to drive a couple clean laps now. But yeah, hopefully they fix that turn one. It just seems like the cars are way too tentative right now. We'll test with higher AI strength after this race, but still, it just seems like they are so tentative into the corners. Because I'll just make this pass on the outside like it was nothing. ACC was cracked day after release. Sadly, that's the kind of culture we live in now, where people will just release cracks, and I think a lot of people, they will try to rationalize it, saying, it's only one car and one track, why is that, like, such a problem? And the thing is, I don't support that idea. I don't support that mentality. I think it's a cheap cop-out, when it is. I can understand some situations for cracking a game. I can understand some. For example, there are some games that people will legitimately purchase, and a DRM system will have gone the way of the dodo, where the DRM dies, and you can no longer play a game that you legitimately purchased. That is like a situation where I could justify cracking a game. But cracking a game that just came out a day ago, for admittedly selfish reasons. Don't beat around the bush. It's a selfish reason, especially if you're like, you're saying you want to crack the game because you're not willing to spend $25. Really? Really? I just find it stupid, in my opinion. I mean, I've cracked games before. I have, I'll be honest. For example, when I had NASCAR Sim Racing that was released back in 2005, going through about 4 or 5 moves since 2005, I lost that pamphlet with the game that had a code on it. And the game is dead. Their online servers are dead. So I just decided I'll just find a server, or not a server, but I'll find a place that had a public key listed and I could play it. So I did that. And hey, I got some enjoyment out of that older game. But yeah, it's a tough situation, but bottom line, I just think cracking Assetto Corsa Competizione is stupid in my opinion. But it always is legality and morality. It's a tough situation. But yeah, I remember like the old LimeWire days, and I sometimes had to actually fix my computer because my sister would accidentally load viruses onto the computer when she was trying to download stuff off of LimeWire. Ferrari's catching up. But yeah, still, no cars stopped on the track.
Okay.
And the session's over.
Lap now. Give it all you can.
So yeah, we're finishing this session. But yeah, also another thing is sometimes cracks can work to essentially patch the game to run on newer operating systems. For example, one of the first sim racing, or not sim racing, but one of the first racing games I had growing up was Monster Truck Madness 2. Monster Truck Madness 2, really fun racing game. I want to do a video highlighting it sometime, but it was interesting. It was something where it was a game designed to work on Windows 95 and Windows 98. So I tried getting it to work on Windows 10 before, and it had issues. So you had to download a fixed exe file. You had to download some patches. You had to download some stuff, but you could get Monster Truck Madness working on Windows 10. So yeah. So, first impressions of this new patch. It's working. It's doing the job. That's big. No cars stopped. No cars actually had that issue, so that's a plus. That's a plus. No cars parked on the track. And then, yeah, so that initial impression is nice. So, what I need to do real quick is figure out how or where to map my pause button. If I can do that. Because I replaced my starter. I replaced it with my starter button. So let's see. Confirm. Wait, dang it. That doesn't work either. B is for going. Actually, no, that does work, I think. So let's go to single player. Let's go to single player. And then we can do quick race. We'll do 20 minutes. And we'll do 7 p.m. 7 p.m. That should actually get us into evening. And we'll do cloudy, so dry race. Start session. Mugoti, Nikki Team was live streaming iRacing earlier today. Mentioned that ACC was good, but the curbs were not realistic at all. You could touch them, car spins out. He rated iRacing curbs as the best done. I'd be kind of inclined to say that. I'd say iRacing might have some of the better curbs. They used to be touch a curb and you're dead, but they've actually done a decent job improving that. Then I'd say R Factor 2, and then Assetto Corsa maybe. Race Room, I think, would be on par with Assetto Corsa in terms of curb feeling. So I think we were driving with the stable setup there. Let's try aggressive. Let's try the aggressive preset here. Okay. So we're starting 19th out of 21 cars.
Race is long.
So
Watch
let's
out
make
for
sure. Yep, pause works.
traffic. And remember, our target is P10. Repeat.
Target's
P10.
10th. So I will say the sounds are, whoa, yep, there's that issue where,
Go, go, go.
like, when you're going through that curb, you're trying to catch up to that other car, it's gonna spin you. They need to fix that. Okay, so let's talk about something good. The sounds. Sounds are still using Fmod, but they are legitimately better. Jeez. Going through that first turn cleanly is almost impossible. But yeah, I think once it irons out... Or wait a second. We forgot to adjust the AI strength. Let's restart this race, and let's see if this is a little better. So, sorry about that. I just wanted to... we'll do 100. Likely this will not work well. But if you watch the... if you watch the Blancpain race, you'll see they don't stop like that in the first corner. This time, I will make a reasonable effort not to hit anyone.
Here we go. Remember that the race is long. Our target is P10. Repeat, P10.
This time, I will brake very early. And then we'll fight our way up. Get some heat into the brakes here.
Green light. Go, go, go.
So I'm making a big gap. Massive gap. Brake here. They are stopped there. Literally. So now that we're driving in the dry, we can try to get a better idea on feeling the edge and the limit of this car. Still, I just don't get that feeling of the edge of grip, though. That's something I just feel is a little bit missing. Whoa. Kitty litter. Yeah, that curb kills you. That curb will kill you. I don't know if I can catch up now. But generally, it seems like the first lap, after the first corner, they're good. But then they'll get very tentative. That's one thing I've been noticing. But yeah, you guys stay off the curbs or else it'll really, really upset you. So let's just focus on rattling off some good laps, and if we see some parked cars, that's going to be a problem. One thing I do like about ACC, though, is that track competency meter on the top right. It really does help give you a good idea on how to drive the track. Thank you. I'm guessing that's Packer for subscribing. I would like to see a specific thing addressing like apexes, because like tells you when you run wide a bit or something. Missed that apex totally right there. So it looks like we're about half a straight behind these guys.
Yellow flag ahead, watch out.
But it seems like the AI is pretty darn fast right now. And we'll see what our gap is at the line. But it seems like they will provide a solid challenge for faster sim racers. I mean, I know I'm not too fast. I'm competent, but not fast. So gap is... They're not showing the gap. Okay. Something I would like to see improved, maybe showing off the gaps between cars. So I'm getting the aggressive but good on the track competency, I guess. Keep on entering that turn way too wide. It'll be kind of sad if I can't even catch one car. So what's been done with version 1.1, or version, 0.1.1, basically they fixed the AI erratic behavior where they would sort of park on the track and hold up the entire group. So there's that. They fixed the field of view, which I guess while we're this far back, let's take a look. So view settings. They changed that in the latest patch. So before you were capped at 70. So you were capped at this. Now you can go all the way up to 90. So I don't know if that's vertical field of view. I don't think it's horizontal. But yeah, that's the field of view you can do now, which is pretty darn wide. And then you can bring it pretty far in to down to 20 degrees. So for this kind of driving, I'm okay with like around 53 degrees. Distance is the same. Up and down for height. Let's try it with that. And then save and quit. So yeah, that is another feature. They enhanced the field of view. They addressed some bugs regarding headlights. So some people were reporting they were having issues with headlights while they were driving with the, what was it called? The visible cars feature on. So if you limited the amount of cars you could see on the track, it would also mess up the headlights, apparently. So they did that a little bit. So, looks like there's two packs right now. In this race. There's the slower pack and then the lead pack. I'm noticing that. Yeah, Wafi, they did address that, they said. They addressed where it was headlights and other effects would be resolved, at least. So that was another thing they addressed in the changelog. If you want to check the changelog for yourself, there is a thread in the Assetto Corsa forums. Quirks and features. I was just watching some of Doug's videos yesterday. Like that new, or not new, but that 2005 Ford GT he just got. Beautiful car. Beautiful car. Would love to get a chance to drive one right now. So let's focus on the track and see if we can close the gap. I don't know if we can. Seems like 100% AI is pretty darn strong. But yeah, you could hear the rear end start to step out a bit. I couldn't feel it through the wheel. I couldn't feel the rear end step out. Where getting an idea on the car stepping out is more visual than force feedback, which I'm not a big fan of. So it is, in theory, possible to catch a slide, but it's difficult.
Yellow flag.
I will state that. But I'm way off on the world record times, I'm noticing. Because the world record for this car in ACC right now is a 153. So I don't fully know what I'm doing wrong, but I think it's just a series of missing corners, like that one. With Assetto Corsa, I'm just used to that snappy feel, that bit of oversteer, and it still seems like there's a bit of understeer. Maybe it's a sensation of speed, or maybe it's just me, a lack of skill. But I don't have that confidence getting the throttle down on this car. I just don't get that sense of confidence that I do in other sims. That's one thing I'm noticing. So you can see on my telemetry, I'm relatively tentative on the gas. I don't want that rear end to step out because it just feels like when that rear end does, it's almost death. But yeah, we'll try to experiment more and see what I can do to get better lap times, but it's a struggle, I think.
We're halfway through. Keep pushing.
Well, I did feel the car start to step out a little bit there. And I could actually catch it at least, which is nice.
Well done, mate. So fastest lap.
Anthony, thanks for subscribing, and that's a PB for this race. So let's try to be a little more aggressive. So here, get it actually turned in. A little wide there. Thank you, Profismus Gaming. Thank you. Real best lap time for this car is 1:53. Okay. Yeah, also I'm in race trim right now, so maybe lowering fuel, changing aero and stuff, that could help me get a better lap time. This is my first time into 159s, I think.
Brother mate, this has been your
Never mind, I'm 300s off at 159. I just do not see how it is possible with this baseline setup to get a 153. I mean, I could see maybe a 58, 57, but not a 53. Dino, I've been, like, when I'm doing solo car drive, I'm not noticing the delay. When I'm in a race, I'm noticing the delay. Like, as strange as that is, I don't know if it's using more resources and just really sapping the frame rate, but that's just what I've been noticing. So yeah, I want to say maybe 95, 96% might be my peak for this. Thanks, Chris Lamnet, for subscribing. So after this, we'll do a night race, but again, I just want to reiterate, we have 6 minutes left in this race. No cars have stopped for a picnic. No cars have stopped in the middle of the track, causing a big traffic jam, which is unfortunate because I'm so far back, but at the same time, it's just like, yeah. It's a positive for people who actually want a good race. Start to feel the rear end step out a little bit there. Jardier, yes, he is really fast, I will say that. I actually caught that slide. Kind of got a feel, but oh man, that was a bit of a scare. Had a bit of a feel. Traction control kicked in and just shot me. Okay. Let's try turning down traction control a bit. We had it set to 6. Let's turn it down to 4. So, my concern with ACC versus iRacing is iRacing has the full racing platter. iRacing doesn't just have GT3, it has prototype racing, it has open wheel racing, it has road car SCCA affiliated racing series, it has oval racing, it has rallycross, it has dirt racing. So it has the full racer's plethora of variety of series for you to race. Assetto Corsa Competizione only has GT3. And if you like GT3 racing, I could see gravitating from iRacing to this. But beyond that, ACC doesn't really have much to offer. That's my fear, that's my concern. That's why I'm really hoping they add more series. SRO has a wide variety. They could add a GT4 series. They could do that, and that could add some longevity. That could add some more variety that I think ACC will desperately need. That's kind of the issue. That's what will come down to seeing what will make or break Competizione. And I'm still really suspecting that ACC will not just be GT3. There's a few hints I've been seeing in this sort of early access that are leading me to be inclined to thinking that this will not just be GT3 racing. That, I think, will be something that I think personally will likely see more announcements in. For example, we're going to get the 2019 Blancpain GT series, that kind of content in 2019 summer. And then beyond that, we'll likely see more stuff added. For example, on the main menu, on the bottom left, there's that button that says Blancpain GT series. What I am suspecting is that could be a series switcher. That could be a button that you press and you can select different series. I'm just speculating right now, though. I'm just speculating. I'm just suspecting that could be something that is a potential possibility. So hopefully that's the case. Hopefully we'll see more series. And yeah. So I'm wishing for the best. I might be bracing for the worst. But yeah, so far I am enjoying this. I wish that they had maybe 2 cars for you to pick from. Maybe they could have done Ferrari versus Lamborghini. You could drive a Ferrari, you could drive a Lamborghini. Or maybe something with a front engine, the Mercedes AMG versus Lamborghini. That could be a decent variety to show how the 2 different cars would battle differently. So things like that. But yeah, so that's just some of my thoughts. That's some of my thoughts on the ideas, on that process. We'll see how things go. Also, another thing that I think might be the case is if you look at the licensing, the copyright information on the start of the sim, when you first launch, there's that splash screen. I'm noticing some cars that aren't GT3 race cars. I think there was one that said McLaren F1 GTR. That's not a GT3 race car. That could be something that we might see. But I'm hoping that we'll see more cars. I'm hoping. But ultimately, it'll come down to licensing. It'll come down to what Kunos is doing with this sim. And that's still something we do not know for sure yet. We do not know how far ACC is going to expand. Will it be something that in 2020 or so, they'll start focusing on Assetto Corsa 2? That could be the case. That could be the case.
Give me the final push.
We'll see how it is, though. Hey, Shane, how's it going? Well, Lopata, look at Race 07. Race 07 was the official FIA World Touring Car Championship game, but they had open wheel series. They had different cars. They had expansion packs. So they had one that was like TCR or something like that. They had different FIA series affiliated. So we'll see how that is. We'll see what happens. So I'm not promising anything. I'm not promising anything, but I think there are signs that there's going to be more than GT3 in ACC. I hope so, but we'll see. But yeah, we'll need to turn down AI strength. We just got slaughtered in this race. Yeah, Lopana, but it does give precedence to an officially licensed game offering more series. Like Race 07, once you had the expansion packs, you also had series and cars. Like, you had the Gumpert Apollo, which, to my knowledge, has not been in any other PC sim racing title as a first-party car. You had the Bugatti Veyron, you had the Chevy Camaro, you had a lot of different cars, and it was interesting to see that variety. And I think that is something that is feasible or plausible in Assetto Corsa Competizione. It's plausible. There's no confirmation whatsoever. This is pure speculation on my end. But I think it is something that we might see. So aggressive setup reduced fuel and did a 54.9. Okay. Yeah, I love my 4K TV. I've played GT Sport on it and it looks amazing. Unfortunately, I'm having some issues with the panel, so I'm going to have that dealt with in my warranty, but thank goodness I got the 4-year warranty, and it didn't let me finish the race. Post-session time. That's kind of irritating. I wish it would have let me finish the race, because that's what Assetto Corsa would have let me do. But yeah, so far, we'll see how they... Like, right now, Kunos's title is focusing on GT3. We need to, like, basically focus on that right now. So, that's what we're doing. And we're taking a look at. So yeah, 100% is the maximum strength in this. We will do 94%. Where do I think ACC stands at terms of tire physics? Well, I'd say it's a step above Race Room. Right now, in terms of feeling, it might be a hair below original Assetto Corsa. In terms of the actual simulation, I think it might be above Assetto Corsa. This gets into a little bit of a sketchy territory where you can talk about where it is the physics versus force feedback. You can have a sim with good physics and horrible force feedback. You can have a sim with bad physics and good force feedback. For example, a sim with bad physics masked by good force feedback is Dirt 4. Dirt 4 has bad physics, but has good force feedback. Dirt Rally has decent physics, but it has poor force feedback. It's a tough thing. So that's something I'm just thinking of. So I wish... So another thing I just want to hope that's going to be coming in future is that you can see how many laps per. I have not seen any indication of you being able to see how many laps per like liter of fuel or liter a gallon. That's something that was great in Assetto Corsa. They need to bring that to ACC in my opinion. So, yeah. Same car in original AC felt like a wooden surfboard. Of course it's better, but it has a long way to go. Agreed.
Alright, remember that the race is not won in the first corner. Watch out, and remember that our target is beaten.
So now we are up to 94%, I believe. So we'll see this. 28-inch 4K. Is it good? Well, the 4K is just one part of the equation. 3 elements for a monitor need to be taken into consideration. And thank you for Aldrome Reed for subscribing. But in my opinion, for a monitor, 3 things need to be taken into consideration: resolution, response time, and frame rate. Response time is how quickly the monitor will react to an input. So for example, a TV, wow, I just got punted. But yeah, so I'm not going to say that name, but thanks for subscribing. I already read it enough to see that prank. So, continuing. 3 elements for a monitor that really need to be taken into consideration. Resolution is important, but not the most important. Frame rate is an important element. So 60 hertz is the common go-to. Now we're seeing like 144 to even, I think we've seen 240 hertz displays. So you do need to have a graphics card powerful enough to push the image at that frame rate to get full advantage of the frame rate. But response time is something that is extremely important. Response time is so important for a monitor, especially for racing games, that response to your initial movement. So for example, for my console gaming, I have a 46-inch Sony TV that I got back in 2011. That has an abysmal response time, where I'd say at times it's near unplayable for some titles. And then this monitor I'm playing on right now, 27-inch IPS monitor, I want to say it's a 5 millisecond response time. And that is a really good frame rate, and not frame rate, response time in my opinion. It's near instantaneous in the titles where you have, and I know response time isn't equal to input lag, but it does play a factor. It does play a factor. Sometimes people will mistake response time for input lag. Whoa, okay. So, I guess he was on my inside. I thought he was a car length behind when I started braking. Well, yeah, let's keep going. Captain Slow. I'm guessing the fake James May has just subscribed. Thank you. And Mark thinks Damajati. I apologize if I mispronounced that name. But yeah, someday I do want to research deeper into monitor specs, maybe make a video talking about it. Because monitor stuff, I'm not too knowledgeable on it, but I'm knowledgeable enough. But yeah, we'll see how I can try making a video talking about it in the future. Okay, trying to find a way to get around the Audi. I want to maybe get a better drive off on this corner. There we go. We're closing in. Pull to the right. There we go. Now we can start closing in.
Yellow flag, be careful.
I really hope we have enough fuel, though.
Red on main, personal fastest now.
I see yellow flag right there. So yeah, this third race, this will be my final race of the stream. I have to do some stuff with family this afternoon. But yeah, I just want to do a quick stream addressing this patch. Taking a look, and wow, that was a major slide and had to wait quite a while to catch that. But we were able to, at least. I got some feeling. That was nice. But yeah, there was no mention in the setting, or in the changelog, about an improved force feedback. So I don't really know if there's been a legitimate improvement in force feedback. But yeah, this feels pretty good so far. It does seem like frame rate might be slightly more optimized, but also consider I'm running at medium. But also in my previous stream, I did test at medium and frame rate was worse. So maybe there was some behind the scenes optimization. I don't know for sure, but it does feel a little more smoother, a little more cohesive. So I will say that. I won't promise there's an improvement. I can't promise that. This could just be placebo, but like there's always tiny things that developers will do to try to optimize behind the scenes, and not everything is mentioned in a changelog. But yeah, it seems like it might be a little better now. But yeah, it's nice seeing that this was actually fixed 2 days before, or 2 days after the first public release. They really jumped on this issue. So I'm happy about that, especially considering that a lot of the Kunos guys are over in Germany for Sim Racing Expo. So they're actually right here at the track in real life. And yeah, so they need to, they're doing their publicity stuff, but also they had time to fix it. So that's nice.
Yellow flag ahead, be careful.
Heard a little bit of chattering from the ABS. Let's dive down. So yeah, the AI is still, like, at this strength, they're a little pushovery. So hopefully in future patches, they will put up a little more of a fight. We'll see how it is. But yeah, right now we are still only back in 15th. Daniel, that I don't think's the issue. The issue was the scale. I guess there was some sort of scaling to the issue, or to the tune of like just setting the cars in general, because I was running a 10-lap race and then they'd run out of, like, the car would just stop about 5 minutes in. So it wasn't that. It was something maybe like the fuel consumption scale where it was too high, or just the preset didn't fill the car with enough gas. So tiny oversight, but at least they fixed it. And yeah, just I have a, like, this update, as small as it is, it makes me feel a little more comfortable now. Like, I know I was going on a bit of a rager yesterday about things. Like, I was a little mad and just upset, but this does give me a little bit of a sense of comfort, because this does mean that actually they are going to try to address these issues, stomp out these bugs pretty quickly, I think. Because, yeah, this is actually something that we can actually now enjoy a bit more. But yeah, Daniel, one thing I did want to mention is, I did talk about this in some of the announcements I made. Version 0.0.7 did not have that issue with the car stopping. The pre-release copy I tested did not have that issue. But I guess something they tweaked in version 0.1.0 broke it. And sometimes that can happen in a game compile. That's a part of development. Sometimes stuff just breaks. So it is something that just short notice, like, things can happen. That's the nature of early access. We paid early to get into this game, to try this out, and sometimes issues come up. Issues will come up. That's early access. And most of us bought into this game with that expectation that things aren't going to be polished. Things might be broken. Things might have issues. And yeah, so an issue came up. I'm thankful that they could have fixed it in 2 days. I'm thankful that they fixed it in 2 days. They could have taken a week. They could have taken a week to fix this issue, or they just ignored for an entire month until the next build. But they actually fixed it. I'm happy with that. So it looks like we have, I think that's an Audi closing in.
Be careful there.
Need to focus a little more. What happened to GTR 3? So I did talk with Chris Speed after Gamescom, and they said that the GTR 3 tweet was an unauthorized leak using some information that wasn't totally accurate. That's what they said. They said they're working on trying to secure the WEC license, but it is not fully secure yet. So I guess someone jumped the gun on an announcement that was still in the making. WEC, they do not have that license yet. They said they are looking to try to get a playable build soon. They said they're still shooting for maybe Q2 2019, I think. They're trying to shoot for Q2 2019, but just after that race department interview, I'm really nervous about it. I'm really nervous about seeing what's going to happen. So yeah, we'll see how it is. Yeah, Coffer, I've been enjoying 2018. 2018 actually feels like a decent working title. 2017 had quite a few bugs and stuff, and yeah, so 2018 feels like solid improvements. Sure, there's still some bugs and issues. Sure, the physics aren't at the simulation level, but if you're buying a Codemasters title expecting a hardcore sim, you're always going to come around disappointed. Let's see if we can actually catch these guys, though.
Yellow flag, be careful. Well done, mate. Personal best.
They need the gap intervals, though, for this. They need that end of standings spar. Well, we're closing in big time. Just seems like those cars are still very apprehensive in the first corner. Hopefully, yeah, Ryza Studios, they'll implement VR into their next game. They did say it got a little delayed because of the success from AMS. So the success from AMS kind of led to them going a little on the back burner for Ryza's game. They did say they're shooting for 2019, though. It sounds like they are shooting for 2019 for bringing that game to light. They did post a thread in their forums talking about the 2019 Ryza game, so I'm excited for that. So we're closing in. I love driving through those sparks. Seeing the car ahead, kicking up sparks, driving right through it. That is an awesome feeling, I'm just saying. And I don't think you get that really in any other sim.
Well done, mate. Personal fastest lap.
Okay, we're on the outside. Give him room, give him room. On the throttle. Go on the inside now. That's a cool over-under move right there. That was fun. So yeah, this patch, or this hotfix, I'm going to call it a success at least. I think this hotfix is a success. It's gotten the single race functionality into a place where it is legitimately playable now. Still, I need to find out what the best AI level is for me, but this is in a state that it is playable. I mean, it's not flawless, but it is playable now. You're now actually able to race against cars. You're able to actually race pretty well. There's no cars actually stalling at the track. So that's positive at least. Whoa, we got loose there. Somehow we caught the slide. But catching that slide is still more based on visual than actual force feedback. That's what's slightly frustrating. I've not seen any force feedback INI files in the folder. If you want to inspect yourself, if you go to my documents, there's the Assetto Corsa Competizione folder, and that's where you can edit some files. For example, they did mention that there's something where you can actually adjust the proximity arrows, turn them on or off. Antoine, AMS is a DX9 title.
Be careful.
AMS is a DirectX 9 title. It's still running on ISI Motor 2.0 engine. And that was still the graphics engine, the G Motor engine affiliated with the ISI Motor engine is a DX9 engine. That was the engine that was originally released with R Factor 2. Or no, R Factor 1, I mean. My bad. R Factor 1. So I think, want to make a small amendment to my video. Alright, to my first impressions thought. So, in my first impressions video, I talked about how triple screens were supported. I should have iterated that it's not full triple screen support. It will support using triples, but it's not, to my knowledge, I don't think it's independent rendering. It's not independent rendering of each screen. It's stretching a single image across 3 screens. So I think I should have been a little more clear on that. So hopefully they do add multi-view rendering. That's something that worked pretty well in Assetto Corsa, so I would love to see that in Competizione. Thanks for that plug, Mugoti. If you are enjoying this video, please hit that like button, and if you haven't already, subscribe so you could get to see more content like this. Oof. That bump is no joke.
Yellow flag, be careful there.
But yeah, so far I'm enjoying this. It really is pretty nice. It's a lot of fun to drive this. Sure, force feedback needs to be improved a bit.
Yellow flag.
That is a given. But the physics feel good, relatively believable. From what I've been hearing, the record lap times are pretty consistent with what the real world cars are getting. Apparently it got Nicky Team's seal of approval, which is pretty big because he actually is a GT3 racer. So that's pretty cool to hear. It sounds like curbs might need to be improved, like the behavior driving over the curbs. So we'll see how that is. Ooh. That was an interesting place for that car to bottom out. I just love that particle effect there. Yeah, the sounds, they are an improvement over Assetto Corsa, but still, it's not as good as the real thing, obviously. I still say Race Room is king when it comes to sounds, but at least here, it has a little more depth, a little more dimension. This is using the F-Mod sound engine, which some people like, some people don't. And shoot, we are at low fuel pressure. We might run out of fuel.
Leader is on the final lap. Give it all you can.
We might run out of fuel, guys. That'll suck. So yeah, we'll have one more lap. Will we run out of fuel though? We will find out. I'm gonna keep pushing, but yeah. There's no damage model currently in this build. Damage is not implemented in this build. I'm expecting it to come in a later build. So in a later build, that is when I'm expecting the damage model to be implemented. Short shifting a bit. Whoa. Yeah, low fuel pressure warning. You don't want to see that in the race. I have raced without the HUD. You tap F2 twice on the keyboard to remove the HUD. That's how it is right now. But I'm thinking that, from what we have seen, the low fuel pressure light came up about a lap ago. So I'm hoping we have enough. But we don't have the fuel indicator here, I don't think. That would be nice to see. Oh, that traction control almost spun me out. Just kept on cutting out the input, so you gotta be careful there. Oh, we're like 3 turns away. Come on, come on, we can make it, we can make it. No! Oh, wait. They're ending the race. That's the end of the race. That's not running out of fuel. Again. Again. It's like... They need to allow the cars to finish the race. That's just like... Well, thanks, Rookie, for subscribing. That's a little bit of consolation. So, yeah, I saw, it was, hold on, I saw Addy 711. Yeah, so, there is the element where they did fix the picnics. They did fix the headlight issue. They did fix some of the other issues they were having. So yeah, this is nice. This is nice to see. It's nice to see that this was resolved. So Bill Bloodshed, what it seems like happens is at the end of the race. At the end of the race, the leader, I don't know who the, I wish there was an easy way to see who's leading the race. But when the leader crosses the start-finish line, so here, the leader cross start-finish line, it seems like there's going to be a few seconds before the race ends. I think that's what's happening. So, like, the race will end, all the cars will stop, field is frozen. I don't think that's how it is in real life. All the cars, I think, have to complete the race, cross the start-finish line. That makes sense. So hopefully that will be resolved. I know they are going to be expanding on the racing functionality. I think the November patch is when endurance racing is coming. So that is, I think, when we will see more of the activity coming. But yeah, so closing thoughts on what I feel so far with Assetto Corsa Competizione's hotfix. I'm happy with it. I'm happy with this hotfix. I'm happy they actually fixed this within 2 days of the game coming out. They could have waited a week. They could have waited 2 weeks. But they jumped on it. They jumped on this update and they fixed it, and they legitimately fixed it. They fixed the headlight issue. They fixed the picnic issue that I called it. So they did that. They did this. But yeah, keep in mind, this is still the first release of the early access. We are 2 days into early access. There's still a ton that needs to be done. And we need to go into this game with that in mind. We need to go into seeing this simulation with that element in mind. We need to not go in expecting a totally polished product. We're not meaning to go in expecting a flawless product. We are paying, like, so people buying into this game right now are long-term buying this game for half price. This game will likely be $50 or $50 to $60. Whoops, that was the fast forward, I guess. So this game will likely be $50 to $60 when it comes out. You're buying it right now for, I think, $25 to $30. or 25 euros, $30 or something like that. So that is something to keep in mind. That is something to really factor into your purchase. You're paying for a title that could be broken right now. Yes, that is still rough around the edges, early in development. Sure, you get one car, one track. But ultimately, you're investing in the long term for this. And remember, this 25 euro, $30 product is in effect until November's patch. It's November's patch. And yeah, sorry about the delay in the webcam. I'm still ironing out some settings. OBS seems to be acting up a little bit lately, so I might look into trying to fix that. But yeah, so bottom line, I'm excited with seeing how this goes. I'm excited with seeing how Assetto Corsa Competizione is shaping up. So on that note, I am going to sign off. Thanks for watching, everybody. I will follow the development of Assetto Corsa Competizione closely. Whenever new updates, releases are released, I will take a look at them if they are something that deems taking a look at. This one was important because it actually fixed the racing functionality. So yeah, I'm happy with this update. I am a lot more comfortable driving this now. So guys, thanks for watching. And yeah, for the Sim Racing Paddock, I'm William Marsh, and you have a good one.